Well, congratulations, CD. Ollie's, likely a one-club player, which is massive for him and the footy club.
Yeah, it is. We've been talking to Ol for the last month or so. It's a great sign for our club that he wants to commit to the place long term. Obviously, still had 2 years to go. To extend for another 4 years is significant for both our footy club and also him.
What was the desire there from the club to just go early on extend his contract when he still had 2 years to go?
Yeah, well, look, we have conversations with our players and their managers all the time about what their future looks like. I think everyone would acknowledge that Ollie's last half of the year was outstanding. Really drove the team towards the finals. He's a guy who has made it abundantly clear to all inside the club that he's committed to what we want to do. He's the type of guy who we could be playing on a Saturday night here, playing on the Sunday at Elizabeth, in the SRNFL, and he'll be there. He's bought into what our club is. His family has also. We're just really pleased that he's seen to want to commit probably what's going to be a fair chunk of his future to our footy club.
Is that kind of statement on two fronts? I mean, the fact that he wants to stay there, but also probably sent out a message to the other younger guys, especially from interstate, about what the building at Port Adelaide?
Exactly right. You can't underestimate, when you've got high quality talent players who are from interstate who want to commit to your footy club. Make no mistake, that's a reflection of the culture of your club and the strength of your group. We've been, fortunate that we've had those types of players who have been willing to commit. Ollie is one of those. I expect that there's going to be, more into the future. We've got a lot of our younger guys locked away now for a decent period. I imagine that, Sam Hayes, I know we're working with his management right now. I don't see any issues with him looking at staying as well. So we're wrapped that we're in a position where those guys want to stay at our footy club.
And obviously as well, CD, he had that, time when he was co-captain, went back to vice-captain, but was spoken about it, but his commitment, like you said, it probably shows strength of character on his behalf.
And that can't be underestimated, Tom. To be put in that situation would have been hard. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It would have been hard for him. But the way he handled it was outstanding. His support for Tom throughout this year was immense. He's done everything our club could have asked of him so far, and I've got no doubt that his trajectory is still upwards on both the leadership front, but also I think he's still got some upside as a player. He's played 150 games now, 150 really good ones, but I think you're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg of where Ol can actually go. And as I say, he took our club forward this year. There's no doubt he grabbed a few of his teammates on his back and he compelled the team into a spot where we were challengers at the end of the year. Now, we want to be more than that. He wants us to be more than that. And I think this is a sure sign of the fact that he wants to put the contract aside and now really concentrate on this team being as good as it possibly can be. And I know that he thinks we can be really successful.
I was just going to say, you probably answered my next question then, but to the naysayers out there that say always risky doing a long-term deal, what do you say to those people?
Look, I acknowledge that there's an element of risk in everything that you do, isn't there? But when you've got a person who works as hard as Ollie does, if anyone was to even contemplate for 1 second that this is going to change Ollie's work ethic, they don't know Ollie Wines. The fact that he has, done what he's done to extend his time at our footy club shouldn't be underestimated. And it's a long time. We get that. But it's also a fantastic show of commitment to, for a person who is from interstate, who wants to see his career out at Port Adelaide.
Is that just his shoulder reconstructions? You probably would have gotten some information from the medical staff before you kind of offered him the extension, say that his body's going to is more likely to hold up going into when he's 32, I think, when he expires?
Yeah. Of course, they're the types of things that you contemplate when you're putting these types of deals together. Ollie's main issues have always been collision type injuries based on the way he attacks the football and where he actually ends up in contested situations. So, look, those things can happen. They're part of what you can do. Whether you've got a 6-year contract or a 1-year contract, that's the reality of the sport that these guys play. It can be brutal at times. But he's really importantly, he's always come back from those injuries in a fashion that highlights his professionalism and shows that there's nothing that's going to stop him from getting back and playing good footy.
Appreciating his trajectory, can you see him taking up the mantle as the skipper again at Adelaide?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that people in our footy club would see Ollie potentially being the sole captain of our footy club. Having said that, Tom Jonas has done a fantastic job and I'm not retiring him off anytime soon because Jonas done wonderful things this year, but I don't think you have to be Einstein to work out that's something that Ollie would also aspire to.
Apologies if you feel like you've answered this question before. I guess given the amount of speculation that's been around on this issue, I think Ken might have said last month, Essendon have asked about it for the last 8 years, kind of joking. How important is it, I guess, from his perspective and from your perspective to secure his long-term future now before he goes into that, I think they call it pre-agent, next year, where the speculation only ramps up further?
Look, I've got no doubt that was a part of Ollie's thinking. What Ollie's fantastic at is actually blocking out, what's going on outside of his group and his domain. But I think that he's been able to show here that he wants his future to be at Port Adelaide, and whoever wants to speculate on whether Ollie's going to be here down the track or not has got a pretty firm answer right now, haven't they? So, and that, again, we understand that these things are spoken about at various points in time. I'm sure there were elements of truth to parts of what was made public, but we're looking forward now to the next 6 years of Ollie Wines at Port Adelaide.
How does it impact the salary cap situation at Port Adelaide, given that I think the list managers in the AFL were meeting today about back-ended contracts? I mean, is it a back-ended contract?
Oh, look, I wouldn't want to go through what Ollie's contract is, whether it's back-ended or not. But the idea that it fascinates me that people talk about back-ended contracts as if they're things that are new to the industry. No matter what it is, you've got guys who are not on linear type of contracts. It just doesn't happen that way. So I know that there's been a whole heap of talk about the value in back-ending contracts and potentially some of those things not working for other clubs previously. It's the reality that we deal with is that, as I say, you've got a salary cap to work with. You are allowed to manufacture an outcome, and some players take more in 1 year and less in the next year. It's nothing new. But Ollie's situation helps us in the sense that we know what Ollie's going to be earning for the next period of time. We are having to deal with list numbers coming back, and that's going to have an impact for us in the sense that we've also got our SNFL team, which is we're going to be looking for additional contracted players to play at that level, and we've obviously got a negotiation that will have to happen with the SNFL. I'm not sure how much of a negotiation it will be, but the SNFL will tell us what the rules will be around the players that we can have who effectively top up the AFL list for our SNFL team. But Ollie, as I say, Ollie committing his future to the club gives us some surety around a player who is clearly wanted across the competition and who is a really good player.
And second, no doubt you guys are pretty shrewd with the way you do business. You might apply for long-term security anyway to fall forego a little bit of money sort of thing. So probably works both ways.
Yeah, Tom, I think they're the types of things that you weigh up in these types of conversations. They're not all one way. To get a deal like this, you've got to give something up. And to give a deal like this, you've got to give something up. So, look, we go into this with our eyes wide open to the potential risks. But, right now, I think the potential for Ollie Wines to be a one-club player are obviously significant. And, he's a fantastic person that we want at our footy club long term.
Obviously, a great trade period for the footy club as well. You got what you would desire. How you're looking for the draft? You're pretty prepared.
Yeah, well, look, our recruiting team led by Jason Cripps, Jeff Parker, are ready and raring to go. Clearly, we've positioned ourselves over the last couple of years to be in the spot that we are to. Match a bid on Lockie Jones if that was to come early. We've obviously got other, a potential father-son in Taj Schofield. So, but that's not to say that we haven't, scoured the draft as well, just in terms of what else might be out there. If we have a later pick that can come in, and obviously, with future picks, you've also got the opportunity we've got the opportunity to trade. Back into this draft if we actually wanted to as well. So our guys will be suitably prepared as they have been over the last, certainly in my time at the club. I've got no faults with the guys that we've brought in, and I think it's a really exciting time for our footy club to think that, we could be bringing in another, first round quality, player to add to the guys that we brought in during the trade period. Is going to set our list up for the future. And as I say, when you consider that we've locked in the majority of our young talent, I think that this is a list that's got some potential.
Have you told Taj if you're going to take him as a father-son yet? You have to do it by Wednesday.
Yeah, so we'll do it in line with that time. We've been talking about Taj for a long period of time, so I don't think the answer is going to surprise too many people when we actually do it. But that'll be something that we'll work through in the AFL's timelines, and once we've done it, we'll talk to you about that then.